Hello and welcome everyone, this is Rufus Shinra from the Shinra Corporation. Today I will be showing the results of a takeover I did for Eleniko Scooby, helping him rebuild his arena team to progress through gold, from gold 3 to gold 4. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with me as a player, so I've been playing for over 2 years now, and I did rank in Platinum more times than I can count during the height of the so-called boosting era. I almost gave up ranking in Platinum until I got my avatar. Now I don't play as much as I used to before, but I'm still pretty much interested in it, and I love helping players who are struggling. So it's known to everybody that we've been facing a lot of controversy recently around Arena. Some people say that it's gotten harder, even harder than ever. Other people say that no, it's the same thing and just people need to get good. And other people are raising valid concerns about what looks like very, very serious bugs causing people to drop to lower tiers much faster than what they would expect. So let's use this takeover both as an opportunity to check out the builds that I propose for that team and verify if such events or the difficulty, what's going on in Arena, is a fact regarding Gold 3 at least. Now, as a disclaimer, I don't know if the problems are mainly in gold, in silver, or in bronze. I hear that it's more prevalent in bronze than in other things, but yeah, I will give you just my own experience pushing from mid-high gold 3 all the way to gold 4. And as always, if you're not subscribed, please leave a subscription. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the video. I love answering those. And if you want a takeover of your own regarding Arena, Doom Tower, Clan Boss, pretty much anything, you name it, you can go to my Discord and reach out to me and we can set something up together. With that said, we'll jump in right into the video. Alright, so these are the choices that I had to work with. As you can see, actually a pretty strong roster, although lacking a few of the key speed boosters or classic speed leads in Arena. We don't have a Go Grab built, but we do have some other cool options. So what I will ask you to do now, let's do a little game. So you can pause the screen right now, take a look at these champions, and go right in the comment section what you think the team I picked from these champions to push from gold 3 to gold 4. You have a few seconds counting from now. Okay, so let's see what team I came up with. So here, again, as I was saying earlier, if I wanted to go with a purely speed team, I would have needed champions like Arbiter, like Lysandra, like even a Gorgorab to rely on for that, both the speed aura and the speed boost. We do have an Apothecary here, but he's not as good as those champions. But so immediately when I was thinking about speed for my offense, I went to the best speed aura in the game. So if you've picked Lord Chazar, ding ding ding, you get 10 points. In addition to Lord Chazar, I would want someone to go as a secondary booster. So I was thinking mostly of a team consisting of a main or speed aura and a booster, and then a couple of champions to nuke and CC. So after Lord Chazar, the natural choice that came to my mind was Seeker. Seeker is one of the best champions for Arena. He has awesome defensive capabilities for your team and also awesome offensive capabilities. So boosting the team, making sure the speed is up, and CCing any potential threat in the enemy team. The thing here, since Lord Chazar is not a speed booster, so Seeker will need to be as fast as we can make him. So that was the idea when I was rebuilding Seeker here. In the first few fights that we will see, he will it will be Seeker with his original build and without a fully booked, well, with no books at all basically. So what I did, I went back and booked him up. More importantly, he's A2, but I had to spend quite a few books before landing them on the A2. So the A1 was booked, which is not a bad thing, by the way. And then, yeah, so besides Seeker, I thought that if I wanted to go for Nuker, I don't have many options. I have an E3, his multipliers are not that great. I have a couple Skull Crowns, but those can be used in a blender with Sinesha, since we definitely have long beard. But again, if I wanted to go for a full-on blender team, number one, that's more of a one-trick pony. So if the team fails turn one, it will have a little bit of difficulty of recuperating due to the low speed on the nukers. And the second reason is that we don't have good enough immunity gear to make it a Tormin farming team. So I left the option for the blender team for later, once we would have farmed better immunity gear. So I went instead with a champion that I didn't think I was going to use, but that ended up working pretty well, and that is Seer. Yeah, so since the takeover was first centered around dungeons, I ended up using Seer a lot in Dragon, in Ice Golem, and in Fire Knight. So yeah, I figured out she can do damage, and she will be pairing with champions that put buffs on themselves, so why not go that route? So I went with Seer, and I first tried a combination with Mausoleum Mage to be her main buff feeder, and then I switched the strategy around and replaced Mausoleum Mage after a few fights with Mashald. So that combo ended up being pretty strong, and I'll let you take a look at how it performed in Arena after coming back and breaking down the builds and giving a few pointers on how to make this team evolve in the future. Okay, so this is the team. Lord Shazar lead, Seeker in second position, Mausoleum Mage, and Seer as nuker. I just noticed that while I was talking earlier, I didn't mention champions like Ray, which is a very good nuker, or champions like Gurgle the Ogre. But the problem in this account specifically is that we are very tight on gear. Although we have a hefty amount of resources amassed, but we still need to do a lot of farming because we just unlocked level 20 dungeons for Fire Knight mainly, so it will take a little bit more time before having enough gear for those nukers to be profitable. But coming back to this team now, the formula is very easy. So we go through the motions, boosting with the Seeker, placing the bombs with Lord Shazar, and then detonating everything we get with Seer. Very simple concept, and works surprisingly well in Gold 3. I haven't tested it much in Gold 4. Yeah, spoiler alert, we do make the push with this team and we'll reach all the way to Gold 4, and it can work also against teams that are faster as a go second team, because as long as Seeker can get a turn here, it can help the others cut in and disrupt the turn order. And yeah, some of the fights will be losses, but the majority will be wins hopefully, and we'll be able to watch that climb all the way to the top. Here, starting with a counter clap from an enemy Seer. I didn't notice that there was a Seer in there, so what I did is I immediately corrected, came back to the fight, but this time instead of CCing, letting it CC the Stag Knight on auto, I manualed it so that I could CC the immediate threat, Seer. And the rest will simply follow. Very easy clap. Boom. Alright, so from here on it will be on a quick time lapse, and I will meet you right at the end for the build and mastery breakdown. So enjoy.
Step on the land, I've got your hand, and now we're way down, fade out low. Was it your plan? Can't understand. I love the air you bring, everything. Under the sun, a fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you your plan. Can't understand. I love the air you bring. Everything. I'm in the sun. A fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you brings the fight in me. Makes me wanna move. Fingers down your spine, looking in my eyes. Feel your hands on mine. understand. I love the air you bring, everything. I'm in the sun, a fire is burning. You tell me to hold on tight. I wish that we could stay here forever. I wanna remember. Oh, the sight of you brings the fight in me, makes me wanna move. Fingers down your spine, looking in my eyes, feel your hands on mine. Tonight we're freer than ever. I wanna remember. Oh, we run every endeavor. I wanna remember.
And after many a battle, we are finally at the home stretch. We are out of refills, and we will have now to rely on our tokens, or our gems to refill the tokens. But we're on the verge of reaching gold 4. So as you've seen, the team works like a charm, provided we either go first or we cut in on the other team. And we managed to do it with very, very low speeds. The fact that Seer does not rely as much on high-end gear for her nukes as she does on buffs is also a plus. Again, this team has plenty of limitations. One major weakness of this team being Tormin, but that could be corrected if we had somebody who could place both buffs and block debuffs first, instead of the Mashal or the Mausoleum Mage we were using initially. So yeah, the final boss that was gatekeeping us from reaching gold 4 turns out to be a Preacher single defense, but we'll take it. We reached gold 4, and we will do a battle here just to wet our feet, so to say, and to be able to say that we've fought in gold 4 after all that effort. Alright, so here I don't remember how this battle went, but I tried to CC the Ray first to avoid any issues. I will try to kill the Arbiter, and now the rest should be pretty much on autopilot. Bombs and then nuke. Nothing out of the ordinary. Even a Mountain King sits down with tons of damage received. So yeah, as you can see, a pretty viable team. As far as defense, I was using more of a Scarecrow defense with Rosin lead, Sethalia, and a double Skull Crowns, with relatively high player power compared to what we have in terms of resources in this account. We could use also Lord Chazal, but for now, without the Arbiter, it's safer to leave this defense. It hasn't been attacked much. I don't know if it's just pure luck or if people were avoiding it, but it did work for what we were trying to achieve. Okay, so we'll just do one last fight, and then we will move on to the gear and build breakdown. Again, just confirming that the theory is sound. Everything goes as expected. Let's see who we're going to take buffs off from. It didn't work with Arbiter, but the counterattack might end up serving us. We'll take a few retaliation hits, no problem, but let's see if the fear helps us. Cool. So only Valkyrie reacted, and with all those buffs and the bombs, so the game is pretty much ours now. Complete CC everywhere. So yeah, there is the martyr that is not totally down, but that shouldn't be a problem for our Shazar. And yeah, as you can see, we made it to gold 4 with our ragtag team of boom bada bim bada boom bombs and Seer nukes. Yeah, let's take a look at the builds real quick. So this is the Seeker. He's at 42k health, 2000 attack, 3000 defense, 279 speed, which can always be improved, of course, and 221 accuracy. Still low to my taste, but him being a little bit tanky does help in certain battles to survive the initial nukes and to be able to keep CCing. If anything I would change here is maybe give him more health, put him in a shield set, because now he's just in a double speed plus divine speed. Try to keep the speed as it is or make it higher, and give him significantly more accuracy, because the debuff is really useful. Alright, and these are the masteries for Seeker. The ones here are the ones that were already on him before I did the takeover. I decided to let them as they were. So all the fights that we've seen were done with these masteries, but I would recommend to move towards something more like this in the future. So go in with a little bit more resistance, go in with as much accuracy as we can from the support tree, speed boost whenever one of the buffs expire, the cycle of magic to run through those cooldowns eventually faster. Here just to Evil Eye to be able to reduce the turn meter whenever we go first, and lasting gifts, of course, because we want to keep those buffs for as long as we can so that we can feed Seer with them as well. And here on the defense tree, just regular, let's say, protective masteries all the way down to the counterattack layer with retribution and deterrence, and finally fearsome presence at the bottom to give us additional chance of provoking the enemies with that A1, which is a very strong tool of Seeker. Now moving on to the next. Yeah, so this is the Seer, and the stats might be surprising for the performance that we've seen. So barely 200% crit damage, 100% crit rate, 184 speed, 46,000 HP, 2.2k attack, 1.6k defense, and 268 accuracy, and barely any resistance. She is in a broken set, meaning no savage here, no immunity. As you can see, just maybe one accuracy set that could be completed, but these were the pieces that would allow us to get these stats in this account, so lots of farming is still warranted. So imagine if she was in savage, she would be doing even more damage, but do we need it? Really? One might argue yes, but again, if we can push to gold 4 with these stats, basically plenty of people can, because even if you don't have Lord Shazar, Arbiter arguably is also a very viable option for this kind of team. And of course, if you have Duchess or any of the other OP leads, you could do the same. So here we did it with this Nuka, and you've seen the results. She does slap no matter where you put her. For the masteries, yeah, so these are the masteries I used on her. So support tree for basically to get down to the Evil Eye, and the offense tree with flawless execution to get the extra crit damage that we need. The Great Hole is not really super developed as well, so this is why we don't have a lot of crit damage. But yeah, so pretty classic build for Seer, dungeon oriented, but worked like a charm in arena. And here, this is a more broad view of the masteries. Let's move on to the next champion. Now, this is our next champion. So Mashald is in 2 speed sets and 1 divine speed set. He's at 190 speed. He has big crit damage, big crit rate at over 248 crit damage and 103 crit rate. 3k attack, 2.1k defense, 30,000 health, and 234 accuracy. So as you can see, provided you pick the right team, you choose the right opponents, these will come in handy. And the good thing about this comp is that even if he fails to land his fear debuffs, it would still place the buffs on your team for Seer to consume. So the synergy is really good, and it does work a lot of times. So these are the masteries on Mashald. Again, I did not make this build, I did not change it. I might have, no, I'm pretty sure this was the build that that Mashald had on before. I might have changed a little bit to make him faster because he was running a little bit slow when I started playing around with him. But this was the original build. All I did was incorporate him in the team. So moving on to the captain of the team, Lord Shazar. He is built again for dungeons at 187 speed. Lord Shazar, for those of you who don't know him, basically he's known for a couple of things. One of them is his aura. awesome aura, the best for arena, 32% speed. And the other one is bombs. He places bombs and he can hit hard with those bombs. And the thing about bombs is that they don't scale off of your crit damage. All they need is attack. One particularity of Lord Shazar here is that he needs 100% crit rate in order to land the bombs, so that's why we build him with 100% crit rate and then dump the rest on attack. This was basically very similar to the original build that Lord Shazar had. I might have just tweaked it a little bit to get in some more speed and some more accuracy, but we started with very, very similar stats. So 30k HP, 4.1k attack. If we can get this number even higher, it will be even better. 2.1 defense, 187 speed, 108 crit rate, 85% crit damage, and 279 accuracy with no resistance again on this team. So for the masteries, this is what we went with. Offense 3 plus support to get some extra accuracy from the Eagle Eye mastery. The rest is fairly straightforward, just masteries to get him a little bit more offensive. One might argue that defense could work as well, but offense is also a nice choice because Lord Shazar, if you build him with crit damage, he can also slap. So yeah, going back to the rest of the team, the defensive team, there is Razin Scarhide, which I haven't played around with too much either. He's in a very, very clan boss looking build. In lifesteal, not much resistance, not with a little bit of accuracy. I would build him, I think, with more DPS because he can nuke, and I would build him with more resistance, especially if you're using him as a resistance lead. So a fair balance of resistance and accuracy could be nice on him to take people by surprise if you're facing him as a defense. Then there are the two Skull Crowns that are used also as defense. They have very, very similar stats to each other. So and the Sinesha. So the rule when you're building a blender with Sinesha, Skull Crown, a rally attack champion, and ideally a fast speed booster is the order in which you place those champions. So obviously you place your fastest champion or your speed booster as lead. Let's say it's Arbiter. On slot number 2 you place a your blender champion, in this case Longbeard. On slot number 3 you place Skull Crown, and on slot number 4 you place Sinesha. Alright, so this wraps up this Gold 3 to Gold 4 climb. I hope you found some interesting info and some ideas to play around with your teams. Here I'm scrolling up through the attack log. There are some defeats, there are some teams against which I was trying to experiment or that I couldn't simply beat, but most of these are victories, and I did not even pick and choose that much, so I basically tried to fight every page that came across. So with that said, it was a blast to win a takeover for Elenico Scooby. I hope that you will be able to improve with your teams, especially after you pull your Arbiter, and that you will be able also to get Lydia and then progress even further in those dungeons with your Seer team. With that said, I thank everyone who's been watching and supporting my content. It's been a blessing having you all, and if you are not subscribed, please pushing that subscription button, leaving a like, and following us for future videos. With that said, Rufus Shinra is signing out. Cheers.